Welcome back in today's video. All right, I'm glad you could join me here. In today's video, we're going to do something that I haven't done in a long time. It's what I really think. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how vaping is getting banned and it's never going to be around and you can't have any more ever. You're going to figure out what I really think in this video about it. Before we get started, I do want to play this clip.
Are they safer than smoking?
I mean, the very simple answer is yes. Combustible tobacco is much more dangerous than e-cigarettes. So at the highest level, we'd say, yeah, fewer harmful substances are in e-cigarettes.
We think.
We believe. And
we think, we believe. I know when he just said that, there was a ton. There's two sides to this vaping thing. There's a group of people that are like, vaping is bad. I don't like it. It's annoying. The other side is you got a bunch of people that are like, it will save your life. It's a healthy alternative. It's a safer alternative, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Is it a safer alternative? Let's get into it. Well, we're kind of already into it, so.
In fact, there's some data to suggest that although you can find some of the same substances in e-cigarette aerosol as you can find in combustible tobacco smoke, far less. So they are safer in that regard. The more detailed answer to the question is, we don't know what the net public health effect is going to be as e-cigarettes continue to diffuse in the population.
So what that means is that much like when cigarettes were first being investigated, there wasn't that many case studies that were paying attention directly to cigarettes. So we just didn't know. We had no idea. So of course, tobacco cigarettes have been around since the olden days, but the case studies were not out until later on as a society advanced. Clearly, smoking cigarettes causes lung cancer and an array of other things, heart disease, and it will kill you. Vaping, what he just said, we don't know. I've read articles online where it talks about how because it makes certain neurons fire so much in your brain, it could cause brain cancer. It could deaden the neurological pathways in your brain. But again, we do not know. And that's something that we need to focus on. I know it was been in the news recently that there was people that were dying from it. And I think we need to pay close attention to that because a lot of people were saying, well, it was black market stuff. It was black market THC. But I looked into it, and a lot of the damages that were happening to these people were lung-related respiratory issues. And if you do anything on the black market, it's of course going to be sketchy. I do not advise doing that. It's probably going to contain some things that are probably going to hurt you on a fatal level. But the lung damage that it was giving out was what I was reading, the respiratory effects. And I know a lot of people where they'll vape and it doesn't bother them, they like it. And I know a lot of other people who vape and they can feel the heaviness in their lungs. Let me know if you're one of those people. My friend, when he would vape, he just felt like he couldn't breathe, rattling, raspiness in there. So it's not a good option for all people. And the people that want to say that vaping is a safer option, you can't say that fully. It might have helped you quit smoking, but that's not for everyone. You can't full well go on and say that this is the end-all cure-all when there are some people who smoke for 27 years and nothing happens to them while other people develop lung cancer and die from it. It's different predispositions. Everybody's body's different. So you cannot go on advocating this is a healthier, safer substance when it's not. And even the researchers, they don't even know what the net effect is going to be in the future. But they did ask this official if it was safer.
So good news, tobacco use is down in youth. Bad news, e-cigarette use is up. And I think all the data suggests that kids who use e-cigarettes are more likely to convert to combustible tobacco and more likely to use combustible tobacco more heavily if they've been an e-cigarette user. So the net public health benefit is uncertain, and I think that's where the arguments lie.
Again, there's just not enough. We're basically the test generation for vaping, and we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea. But if I had to give you what I really thought about it, this is with all seriousness, this is how the zombie apocalypse is going to start. That's right. It's going to go through vaping. I mean, think about it. There are no this is such a new thing. A lot of people don't realize vaping is such a new thing. It only evolved around in 2011 from way out east. And there's not that many regulations. You can cook this stuff in your kitchen and just sell it online. So I feel what's going to happen is it's going to be like The Walking Dead, and it's not going to be good. But they're moving to ban it. They're moving to ban e-cigarettes, and there's a lot of people that are advocating for it, saying, "Oh, this is such a healthier, safer option." But again, like I said, you can make it in your kitchen.
Most of them do contain nicotine, right? I mean, the kids smoke them, or anybody would smoke them because of the nicotine, mainly.
Yes.
I mean, not just because it tastes like a strawberry or whatever.
It's unclear. I mean, obviously, that's the marketing ploy, right? To flavor the solutions. And just as an aside, the FDA really got on a company for marketing a solution that was marketed as juice in a box that looked like apple juice box. So they immediately got on them for that. But I think the marketing to youth, the flavorants and so forth do play a role. Most of them contain nicotine. The problem is that the labels aren't always accurate. And so we don't always know that they contain the specified amount. And sometimes things that say they contain nicotine don't. And on the other hand, some things that say they don't contain nicotine may. Because there's no good manufacturing process that the people are held to. You could make it in your basement if you want to and sell it on the internet.
So, in my own opinion, in my humble opinion, e-cigarettes, vaping is not a safer, a healthier option. Has it helped people quit smoking? I'm sure. Let me tell you how I quit smoking. I'm not advocating this at all, but I started rolling my cigarettes. I quit in 2012. I rolled my cigarettes, got American Spirit Tobacco, rolled it. And when you roll cigarettes, it's so strong that you can't just sit there and smoke the whole thing like a normal cigarette. So I would take hits, and over time, I guess I just weaned myself off of it, but it could have just been the timing because it was making me sick every time I did smoke. So I quit that stuff 2012. Let's give me a pat on the back. Thank you. But no, switching and transitioning to vaping e-cigarettes is basically trading the devil that you know for the devil that you do not know, because the case studies are not out on this stuff, and we won't figure out the full effects, what it's going to have on the net society. Probably it's going to be like 20 years. And then maybe we'll start seeing like some weird things develop. But I thought this was really interesting. I wanted to show you guys this.
Is there any evidence that e-cigarettes help you quit smoking?
So for adults, there is some evidence, it's quite limited, that it may help people quit using combustible tobacco. There's some evidence that the more often you use an e-cigarette, the more likely you are to ultimately quit using combustible tobacco. On the other hand, currently, most adults who use e-cigarettes are dual users. They continue to use tobacco and smoke e-cigarettes. So again, this issue of public health benefit, unclear.
So again, there's a possibility that it might help you quit smoking if you're an adult, but with kids, it almost triples their chances of developing a really bad habit, and even in a worse rate. And honestly, there's not enough evidence out on this, and you could wean yourself off with that. You could wean yourself off with regular, and I'm not condoning smoking at all. I'm actually a lot against it. I'm just trying to be unbiased in this. But generally, there's many methods that you can use to quit, and that would just be another one thrown in there. But like I said, I think that it is ridiculous for them to say we're going to ban because I do want to point this out. This isn't about freedom of speech or freedom of what you want and this and that. This is literally about this is causing harm. And so when this started causing harm and people started dying from it, the Trump administration moved in to take a ban for vaping because it was killing people, which makes absolutely no sense to me because cigarettes have been killing people for years. And I feel like the ban should have went there. If you're going to effectively ban vaping, then you need to effectively ban smoking in general. And there's a lot of people will remember how prohibition went, but this is not like that. You got to think, you're coming from the mindset of you're addicted to cigarettes already, you like smoking, you like vaping, but you got to think about your kids and the future generations. Is this really something that you want to be teaching your children? And like I said, this isn't about freedom of this or that. This is about if these things did not exist, then your kids would never be addicted to them in the first place. If it never existed, you'd be never addicted to it in the first place. You wouldn't have such a hard time quitting. But that's my piece on that. And now you know what I really think. So I'm going to do this series quite a bit. So if there's anything else that you guys want to know my opinions about in general, absolutely let me know. And we're going to talk about the hard topics. And also don't forget that we're trying to hit 15,000 followers on Instagram. I'm going to do a Q&A when I effectively hit 15,000 sub followers. So go on over there, and if you have any questions, allow me 24 hours to get back to you. I love you. It's good to see you, Rep Squad.